Have you ever heard a saxophone cry? I have. This story is not about music, and not about the stage. It's a story about a group of performers who lived on the road, through American cities, then overseas, from one country to the next. It's a story about faith, and the moment when faith runs out. About humanity, and how easily it can be sold. I couldn't walk past this case, and I couldn't stay silent. A person was killed. The police are working. That's the order of things. I've seen hundreds of cases like this. They're not remembered. They're closed. He didn't come for justice, not for revenge, and not even for the truth. He came for the head. Not figuratively, not as a metaphor, for the real head of a murdered woman. He said, "I wouldn't recognize her among 1,000. I wouldn't see her in a crowd. I need her head, to bury her, to know that it's her." They said it was over. A body, a missing head, an arrest, the ex-husband, a drunk, a familiar name. That was enough for them. I've seen cases like this before. When answers come too fast, they stop asking questions. A woman like her doesn't just lose her head, not in rage, not in chaos. I looked at the facts. There was no struggle, no mess, no fear left behind. It was clean, precise. This wasn't a crime of passion. Passion leaves mistakes. This was a decision. The man in custody wasn't the truth. He was convenient. He was the ending they needed to close the file. But endings like that don't sit right. And that's when I knew this case wasn't finished. It was just buried. That day, everything went wrong. She broke her routine. After rehearsal, she felt sick. She came home earlier than usual. She had been watched for years. Always the same man, no failures, no mistakes. But that day, he was replaced. He was supposed to come later, when the apartment was empty, when she was on stage, when everything passed quietly without traces. The document was urgent, not important, critical. The kind you don't store, the kind you either retrieve immediately or start removing people. She had been a courier for 4 years. There was no order to kill her. That night, she heard a noise. She got up and saw a man going through her bag. He didn't expect to see her. She didn't expect to see anyone. He ran. Everything was in place, and only at the very bottom, someone else's envelope. No name, one marking. Urgent. That night, the system failed. Not everyone knows what they're involved in, even those who live inside it every day. Espionage isn't men with guns, and it isn't the faces you're shown. It's intermediaries, interpreters, people who are always nearby. Performers travel on tour. Their luggage isn't searched. Their bags stay in plain sight. No one looks inside what's protected by applause. Documents cross borders not in briefcases, but in other people's hands, sometimes without the carrier knowing. She found out that night, not earlier, not by choice. You don't become a courier because you agree. You become one because you're convenient. And when something breaks, it never breaks upward. It falls on the one closest to the ground. This isn't a story about murder. It's a story about use, about people who didn't know they were already part of someone else's work. I didn't find the head, and I wasn't meant to. The head was never evidence. It was a message. In certain operations, bodies are marked, parts are taken, not for identification, but for intimidation. This wasn't about proving who she was. It was about showing what happens when someone becomes inconvenient. They needed fear, visible, so the others would understand. You don't just lose your life, you lose your head, literally and figuratively. This case wasn't about a woman, it was about control, about a reminder of the price of consent and the price of refusal. I told him I found the head so he could live. I lied to him. I told him the head was found and buried with her. Sometimes the truth isn't mercy. Sometimes a lie is.